black magic is the reason why I called it black magic is because I'm black.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about Fringe. It's my first Fringe. I've never ever done it as a solo act before.
Yeah.
So it's a whole new experience for me that I'm just like embracing the whole Fringe. I called it Black Magic is because I'm very interested in the word black put together with the word magic and the negative connotations that's always associated with that word. And I sort of want to just challenge that and explore it a little bit deeper and sort of showcase people what blackness is to me and also my magic. So it is my perspective on what black magic is. A lot of the time, and one of the things I say in the show is that people see black magic as voodoo, juju, hoodoo or conjure. And for me, I don't think that's what black magic is because those particular religions are ancient spiritual practices from African through all the way back from transatlantic slave period. And what I talk about is how they've been misappropriated, from Hollywood movies and demonized and seen as evil. So this term black magic is associated with religions and demonizes those religions as evil. But in fact, if you look at it in a historical context and, these people are practicing religions that are just, relate to them and their culture, similarly to, Western culture, it's Christianity or, in the Middle East, it's, Islam or whatever. So I want to make that distinction between the evil association of black magic and then trying to apply that to voodoo or juju. And a lot of this stuff has been, our view of those things come from Hollywood movies like Live and Let Die, for example. Yes. His name was Henry Brown. He got nicknamed Henry Box Brown because of the act he performed. So he then became a magician and performed the act that he actually did in real life and toured it around the UK for 25 years. But I was very inspired by his story. And as a black magician myself, growing up, I explained to people that I didn't really have any sort of role models. There wasn't many black magicians I could even mention or name. So when I started looking into the history of black magicians, I came across his story and some other magicians that were just blew my mind. And his story in particular was amazing because, when we talk about Houdini, we see him as the greatest escape artist of all time. But actually for me, I think what Henry Box Brown did was the greatest escape act of all time because this guy wasn't just escaping, for a publicity stunt. He was escaping for freedom. And he was one of the biggest advocates in the abolishment of slavery. So he's quite an important figure in black history, and not many people know about him. So I'm just sort of paying tribute to him. Yeah, it's important to tell more stories like Henry Box Brown, Harriet Tubman. People should hear a lot about things that happened during the slave period, but also before and after. Because black history is not just about slavery; it has a bigger depth to it. So I'd like to see more stories being told, whether it's in an arty way like I'm doing it, or whether it's just in schools and programs and stuff like that. And people can always educate themselves as well and check online. What I talk about is, and what I see is, when we just use black in descriptive terms, so if we say like things like blackmail, blacklist, black man, there's always this negative connotation attached to it. But then when you physically describe black in real terms, it's actually something quite beautiful. You can think of the beautiful night sky, you can think of the pyramids, things we associate with blackness is actually quite beautiful. So I say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So it's just changing the narrative, that word black and magic. So instead of it having this negative, why can't it be
positive.
Some positive and something beautiful? Because physically, when we describe blackness, it is actually quite beautiful. So that's my take on it. And then in regards to like performance and stuff, it's like when I look at black culture and the history of it, the performance aspect of it, you know, that to me is also a kind of magic, you know, like whether it's Whitney Houston who's sung that note on I Will Always Love You, it gives you that feeling, that magical feeling. So I sort of tie in all those ideas into what blackness is and the magic. I think all of those people, you know, as much as just being brilliant entertainers and brilliant performers, but they always went above the grain and challenged and pushed themselves to the limit. David Blaine in particular, you know, he started the modern trend of street magic, you know, and, you know, pushed it to his limits. He did really crazy stunts, and he's still doing them. Eddie Murphy is just hilarious. He's one of my favourite comedians of all time. And at the time he was very young and he was doing a lot. Eddie Murphy was actually quite an important figure in modern black history because he did a lot to push black entertainment and people's views out there. You know, he included a lot of black people, black only comedies, for example, like Boomerang, Coming to America, and those had like global appeal, and you know, and I think he's someone I respect a lot. I'm very good at converting people. I think magic is an experience, really, and most people haven't really had the best of experiences, so they're only going to go from their past experiences. And you know, for a lot of people, their past experiences may not have been that good. So my job is to sort of change that perception and make them feel magic, because magic is something you have to feel. It's not something you can look at it and witness it, but it's when you feel it, that's what real magic is that feeling of like, oh my god, wow. And yeah, that is usually best done when it's live, you know.